Hello and welcome back to SamiVReads. I'm late on this video. Honestly, probably should have done it last weekend, but I wanted to get all the books fully of September into this video. So I'm posting a little bit later, posting it a few days into October to round up my September reads, but that is okay. I am also doing this right before I go to a workout class, but I'm here and I'm going to do this now. So before I start, I got book mail. So I've never been a big book merch person until recently, getting on Bookstagram, and I see all these cute like bookmarks, stuff like that. And I feel like this is gonna turn into a very unhealthy obsession that I'm gonna feature along this channel. So I got this beautiful bookmark. It says, "From blood and ash we will rise," and it's on both sides. It's done by Book Babe Design. I found her on Bookstagram. So cute. I also got a sticker. I kind of want to do a whole Bookstagram sticker feature on here eventually, like a whole little short video once I get some more in, because I ordered some more. But it's very cute. It's like a little book stack and very high quality, and like the bookmark's gorgeous. I don't think I paid much. I bought this on, she did a sale, like an anniversary sale. So I bought this and she mailed it to me with a little thank you card. That's so cute. I wish I kept it, I threw it away. Sorry. Anyone else left-handed and get this when you're writing? Story of my life. But it's very cute. I'll link her. I bought this off Etsy, so I'll link her Etsy below, but it's from the Blood and Ash series. From Blood and Ash will rise, it's the saying. I wanted to get this in honor of the book that's releasing, the new book of, is it part of that series? Like technically, it's part of the same world. The War of Two Queens, that's coming out in September, October, I think 18th, in that week. So I'm very excited to read that. So I'll be pumping that up in my October hopeful. September was a really big reading month for me personally. I read a topping of 25 books this month. I knew October would be busy for me. It's my birthday month. I'm going to Vegas. I am going to some live concerts. I'm very excited. If anyone is a fan of anything like punk rock, let me know, because that's going to be the majority of my concerts. I'm seeing like All Time Low, The Main, Travis Barker, Avril Lavigne, so some bigger names. Anyways, I'm going to Vegas to see a bunch of these people, and then I'm coming back to Toronto area, which is where I live, and seeing All Time Low later in that week. So that whole week is also the week of my birthday and the trip. So will be a very slow reading week, I'm assuming. I'm also starting a new job tomorrow, October 4th. So I'm expecting that will also monopolize some of my time. So I really want to put a lot of reading into here to kind of fill the void I'm sure I'll be feeling by the end of October, because the first half of October is so incredibly hectic. So it's kind of like a cheat. I started the series on like the last month of August and I carried it on through September. So it's the Wolfden Series by Kelly St. Clair. So I read the Vampire Trials by her. I got the recommendation from one of the authors later in this book, Erica DePinto. She's from the Books and Bitches podcast, and she recommended this author. So I blindly follow some people's recommendations and I read it. I enjoyed the Wolfden series more than the Vampire Trials. She does this really unique way where she takes like a game. So the first game was like a Monopoly style game for the vampires, and then for the werewolves it's like a laser tag game, and it's like throughout the series you find out the whole reasoning behind how they're actually fighting for territories and who controls the land. And our heroine arrives in the town after her mom passes away and finds out all these like hidden secrets, finds out about the trials. She actually has a mate, which is our hero in the story, and through the 3 books you get to find out about their relationship, how it progresses. You get some family ties. I gave the first 2 4 out of 5 because I really enjoyed the concept. I found it easier to follow than the Vampire Trial series. She was the laser tag, and like I found the characters easier to connect to, but I wasn't like chasing to understand what it was. But I then found the last one, I give it 3 stars. I have through writing this list I realized I have a problem with books that are in sets of 3. The 3rd book I normally don't need and don't care for. I like duologies or longer than. However, it's still a good book. It's a good series. I do recommend it. The next book is please tell me I'm not the only one that's like mindlessly scrolling through your not your Tinder, but you'd probably do that too, your Kindle, and you find ads that pop up, or like your Facebook and Instagram and ads pop up. So this book is Kings of Quarantine, which is part of the Brutal Boys of Everlake Prep. It popped up, and it's a reverse harem, it's a bully romance, which are two things I really do like. The problem with these two things is they are extremely well done, or they don't catch you at all. And sadly for this one, I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. So The Kings of Quarantine is by Caroline Peckham. I found it unrealistic. Not that reverse harems are ever fully realistic, but I just like couldn't grasp it. It's about like a sickness is coming. It felt very COVID-y, where the author was writing about like what seemed to be COVID, but she wasn't giving it the name. The heroine, the thing, her dad's a scientist that's somehow involved in all this. There's a coach that's involved, so there's an age gap in there that's apparently going to come, and she made a whole series out of this. I might continue the series later on. I gave it 2 out of 5, so chances are I probably won't, but you never know, my interest might peak. Some people really do like this book. I didn't. She wrote a very popular series, Astronomy Academy, that's really going around right now. She also wrote that, so maybe I'll pick up that and give her another shot. But yeah, not my jam. The next is Duncans by Lucky Irish. This is another mindlessly scrolling ad that popped up. It is by Anna Castor, and it had everything I thought I would like. An Irish family, a brooding bad boy that used to be an MMA fighter, and an innocent girl that got wrapped up in some bad things. I feel like a lie. It's set in Texas, not in Ireland. The guy, the family is Irish, but they're not, it's like second generation Irish. I wouldn't even count it as that. I just found it like rushed and like overbearing. Like, I did not enjoy it. I felt like it was insta-love, which I hate. It was just, the conflict was resolved way too fast. The conflict was like not realistic. Didn't like it, so I gave it 2 out of 5 stars, which really sucks because I was kind of starting off my September on like not a great note. Like, I was not loving the book I was reading, so I was really nervous at this point, like how I was going to accomplish all these books. So I was just hitting like 2 stars and 2 stars and 2 stars. Luckily, I talk about her a lot, but L.A. DePinto, she's from the Books and Betches podcast. She did a story, she released her first ever book called Flight Risk. She wrote it during quarantine, and I loved it. And I don't know if it was partly because I read so many bad books before, but she is generally a good writer. It's her first book, so it's not perfect. I do find that she used a lot of those like hyphenated things a lot. That's the only thing I know is negative in the book, but the storyline's so good. Our heroine's running from her past, which I love, meets a brooding bad guy, like a brooding guy that wants to save her. I don't even know, he's not brooding. She meets a guy that's like very savior. It turned into a really big suspense novel towards the middle to end, and he started getting his perspective towards the end, which I normally don't like the guy's perspective, but she did it in such a perfect timing, and it made sense where you felt like what he felt like. I felt like if it just came from the girl's perspective, our heroine's perspective, we wouldn't have felt the same emotion. Like, there was a point in this book where it turned into like the suspense really added up. Like, it stopped being like, at first I was like, oh, it's a Hallmark cutesy romance, and like halfway through you're like, no, it's not. It's turning suspenseful, and like kind of switched to his POV where you felt the emotions he was feeling, and you were just as confused of like what's going on and finding out the same way about all her past, which I really enjoyed. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I love the Books and Betches podcast. It's a 3-person team. Erica is the one I followed the most because she is very into romance reading, which I am too, and I really trust her romantic recommendation. Next book I'm really sad about. Gods and Monsters. I loved the first book of this trilogy, Serpent and Dove. Loved it. But however, after that first book came out, I felt like everything fell downhill. The second book I didn't love, and I really hope for the third book I would. And they're like beasts of a book. They're thick, like 600 pages. It took me forever to get through, like a very, very unfortunately long time, to the point that I don't DNF books, but I was about to DNF this one, which is so sad because I wanted the whole collection because it's such a gorgeous book, and the first book was so good. But it's by Shelby Marin. It's called God and Monsters. I gave it 3 out of 5 star. I was going to give it 2 out of 5 star, but the ending made me up it a little bit more. It does still have the romance in it, but the first half, 75% of the book, I was like, what the hell? How am I going to get through this? I'm not vibing. I'm not liking this. But she wrapped it up well towards the end, which is why I upped it to a 3.5 star. The first book's amazing. I would honestly wish I just read that and left it at that. So after the dislike of Gods and Monsters, I had to go with like a author that makes me feel good, like a favorite author. And that was J. McLean, More Than This, which is, I actually read the books in reverse. We all know I love the Preston Brothers series. I have a video that you can watch somewhere on my page about me describing all the Preston Brothers. Technically, the More Than series is the first series before the Preston Brothers, so it follows around their sister and her friends. So I read the first book, More Than, of the series. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was so beautifully done. It's about her hair when she ends up in prom, and her family, something bad happens to her family, and she has to go and stay with our hero, and you see their relationship grow. And then they're in their senior year, so summer year, so you know, when like all of college and that is starting, so there's a lot of difficult discussions. Jane McLean makes me sob. She's so good at writing these kind of books where it didn't feel like it's the same author. I love her. I know I like her writing style. I know her stories, and I know, but I'm still shocked every time I read a story. She has a different outline. So it's going to follow around the other friends of the series, and the last one I believe is the sister of the Preston Brothers. So I'm very excited to get through those. I am going to spread them out because I love Jane McLean so much. I don't want to, I need her in times where I have like disappointing books to bring me back out of my reading slump that I will put myself into if I don't. The next book is my first ARC I ever got through NetGalley. And the author, it is by Morgana Bevan, and it's called Chasing Alys. And I'm so glad this was my first ARC because I love rockstar romances. I mean, again, a video is mentioned about rockstar romances I posted last week. I do mention this book inside of it a lot, and give a better review. I gave it 4 out of 5 star. If you want to check out more on my Bookstagram as well as my Goodreads profile, both are linked down below. I have a full review on Chasing Alys as well as More Than This, the book I previously mentioned last. But it's a really good read. It's a rockstar romance. It's a beautiful playlist. It's well done. It's not too smutty. It's not like a bad boy rocker where it's like super angsty. You do get annoyed at the heroine throughout it, but it's a good read and I enjoyed it. The next is another author that I read when I was in college, Molly McAdams' Fixed. It's part of the Brood series. It's the first of the series. I just found out from Let Cat Read. She's on Bookstagram. Link her handle down below. She's a really good one to follow. She likes the same kind of books that I like, so if you like my reviews, you probably like a lot of her stuff. She recommended to continue the series, which I was going to do anyways, but she said it gets even better and better and better. Molly McAdams has a way of crushing you. So in this one, our heroine is running from her past. As usual, I have a trend here of what I like. And she ends up in a town, and she is an author. So I love authors, which I never used to think I would like, but after reading a few books, I like the author trope. And she ends up in the small like Airbnb, and the family that owns it, the older brother is the brother of one of, there's like family brothers. I'm way off topic. And she says this Airbnb, the maintenance man is the brother of the people who own the Airbnb, and he ends up not liking her and like making her uncomfortable because he has a troubled past with females, and there's eating disorder trigger warnings in here. But it's a very good book, and you find out a lot about her, and there's some twists towards the end that Molly McAdams is really good at. I want to give you a warning, Molly McAdams does not kill off a character in this one. She does kill off characters in other books, but this one's a safe one if you don't want to go through the heartbreak of that. But it's still crushing in the same sense, and I really liked it. I'm excited to read the rest of the Brood series. They're all on Kindle Unlimited, I believe. Could be wrong, but again, in my bio, I link all the books on their Amazon links, and I'll let you know if they're on Kindle Unlimited besides. So if I mistakenly tell you this is on Kindle Unlimited, it's not, I will correct myself in the description. My Audible book of the month was The Chase by Ella Kennedy, which is off of, I'm forgetting the university name, but it's a hockey romance. It's been talked about a lot lately because she just released a book off the first. This is a spin-off off the original hockey series. This is a spin-off series. We still meet the same characters, same premises. We're on the hockey team, but it's like technically the spin-off of that series. But that series just got like a cool epilogue, which I haven't finished that series yet. Again, I'm slowing down these series because I will devour through them. I don't want to lose all the good reads I know I'll personally like. I want to save them for when I need them. But I love this book. I listened to it on Audible, so I found the characters were great. The male voice for once did not annoy me. I'm listening to Neon Gods right now from Hoopla. I'm now on Hoopla with my library because I go through Audible books like crazy when I'm driving to work and from work and cleaning around the house, and just in general I've been going through more audiobooks. But I'm reading Neon Gods and I hate the male voice and the female voice. I'm surprised I haven't DMF'd this, but I really want to like Neon Gods, and it's getting better with time as I get used to the voices. However, with The Chase, I wasn't cringing at the voices ever. And there were some spicy scenes, and there's like chances I could, but I just loved our heroine, and she was struggling with a learning disability. I found her so relatable, and our hero was like brooding, grumpy, dealing with his own demons, and like grumpy sunshine vibes all throughout. Slow burn. They finally worked it out in the end, and they both discover things about each other, and it was a really good read. I gave it 5 out of 5. Next, I read the Rock Hard Beautiful series by C.M. Clinch. It is Groupie, Roadie, and Moxie. I did Rockstar Romance read review in a past video, so you're more than welcome to get a better circumstance of that, better review of that through that video. I gave the first 2 books 4 out of 5, and again the last book, because I don't like the 3s, I gave 2 out of 5. I felt like it could have been wrapped up in 2 books. I don't really care for the third one, but it was a good series. It is a reverse harem. She is dealing with a death and finds these guys. It's cute. You see them work through it. Do I believe that she'll always be reverse harem? No, I didn't get that vibe from them, which sometimes I do. This one I personally didn't. So after devouring the Rock Hard series and not loving the last book again, I had to go to a comfort author, and I'm pretty sure my booktube account is going to turn into a K. Tucker fan account at this point, because I read Say You Still Love Me and it is so good. I gave a 4 out of 5 star. It's still, I think I rate rest of her books lower because nothing has ever topped The Simple Wild for me, and because she's the author of The Simple Wild, I think that's why I always rate her books a little bit lower, because it is a 5 out of 5 star read. Realistically, I would give it 4.5 if I gave 0.5 ratings. Our heroine is working at her dad's business. She's getting promoted. She's dealing with all like the male egos, and like as someone who works in a primarily male dominated industry, I work in property management, so developers, all those are a lot developers, primarily construction workers. I work with a lot of male dominated people, so I really related to her, and people calling her like sweetie and talking down to her. That's not the circumstance of the book. That just gives you background on her, because that's why I liked her as a character. She gets a new security guard who she knew in her past. So the book goes back and forth between now and then, and it was about then is when she was like a teenager. She went to camp and she met this boy who ends up being a security guard in her workplace now, and you go see what went wrong, and it's a second chance romance, and I really enjoy a good second chance romance. I love Katie Tucker's writing style. I actually went to the library and grabbed a couple more books of hers that I'll be reading in my October hopefuls, but she's a really good author. I like her romances. I like how easy they are to read and how they stick with you, and they're relatable. Her and I find, I could be wrong, but Ella Kennedy, I find them to be very similar writing styles. Same with Molly McAdams. They're all very similar, and I like that about them. The next book is Beautiful Burn by Jamie McGuire. It's part of the Maddox Brothers series. I read Beautiful Disaster in first year of college, and I loved it. I love that book so much. I still want to reread it. I think it's a very good book. Is it toxic? Yes, but it's a great book. But so this is off of the Maddox. So Travis in our first book, and Beautiful Disaster, these are the next few books are about his brothers. So this is about one of the brothers, one of the twins, and he's a firefighter. and he's in town fighting fires, and he meets like this girl who's a witch. She gets cut off by her family to show her to stop wasting money, get her life together. She ends up working at newspaper company, and in the newspaper company she becomes a photographer. She ends up following around the firefighters in active woods fires, and her and his romance kind of take off. It wasn't as good as Beautiful Disaster. It was kind of slow at some points. She was very frustrating. I didn't like her a lot, the heroine. I loved him. I'm excited I got the second book of the series with the other twin, because they kind of alluded to him in it. I actually read this backwards. I think this is the last book of the Maddox brothers, but I didn't read the middle of those books. I only read Beautiful Disaster. So I'm going to go back and read the other twin story, which I'm really excited to read, because they all kind of intertwine together because they're around the same time. Like you get to see Travis and Pigeon, that's what he called her, Pinch, come back in the story a little bit, which is nice. I always love that when people say that about when the series, you get to see the original characters come back and they're still in love and they're still relatable. Next is my second arc that I got, that is called Big Bone by Joe Watson. I got it through NetGalley. I get most of my books through NetGalley, to be honest. This is a Wattpad book. I'm actually going to slowly preparing a Wattpad review series video. So I'll talk about some Wattpad books I read because they're very controversial. I give this book 4 out of 5 stars. I upped it more than I think I should have, because I love the body image that she has in there. I didn't find it was shoved down your throat. I love the confidence that our heroine felt. It's in set place in South Africa, so the way she describes South Africa really made me think about it, and I got involved in the book, and it made me want to research more about South Africa and all of the culture, because it was not what I thought it was when I was reading this. I'm like, are we sure this is in South Africa? Ignorant of me, I know, but it was very well done. She finds herself, she struggles with her body weight, she gets through it. It's young adult, so there's barely any smut in it. But it's good, and I think as the author writes more, it'll get better. I think I upped it more also because it wasn't like some Wattpad books make me want to throw my hair out. Do not enjoy them. But this one I actually didn't feel like a Wattpad book, which I think made me up the rating a little bit more too. But I think it's a solid 3-star read for someone who doesn't like smut. If you need smut in a book, you probably won't rate this that high. So next, I read another K.A. Tucker book. Shocking. I read Forever Wild to finish off the Simple Wild series. 5 out of 5 stars. It's a novella, so it was very short and sweet. It's the holidays where we see our heroine and hero celebrating for the holidays. Our hero's family's coming into town, and they're engaged already now. And they're talking about their marriage, and like they're making plans for the wedding with both families. They all have different viewpoints. And you get to see all our favorite characters come back, like the angry neighbor from next door makes a huge appearance in it, and you see his stories get complete. And this makes me so excited to read the spinoff where we have his friend that likes him, the veterinarian. I'm excited to read that book. That's coming out next year, 2022. I love that series. I have an omission for these next 2 books. I read the first Raven Hood Brothers series months ago, like 2 months ago, because everyone recommended it. Flock, it was good. Then I went on Goodreads because I loved Flock so much. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I talk about it in my first video on here, which is the 5-star recommendations. I went on Goodreads, and then what did I do? I spoiled it for myself, the second book. So I knew something bad happened in the second book that would mentally destroy me, and I didn't want to read it. But through the time, a lot of people kept talking about these books and how much they liked them. Then I talked to Romancing the Reader. I'll attach her handle down below. She recommended this book. And I told her I spoiled it. And she's like, what you think you spoiled? Read it. You're probably way off. And I was. It still happened what I knew was going to happen, but not in the way I thought it would. And it destroyed me. And I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. Kate Stewart, beautiful author. Loved it. But then the terrible trilogy happened to me where the last book, The Finish Line, I gave 3 out of 5 stars. I didn't like it. Unpopular opinion, people loved it. I thought it was greatly wrapped up, but I felt like it could have been like an epilogue, which was what she really originally applied. A little non-reveal to give you a hint that everything ended up okay and who she ended up with and all that romance. I just didn't enjoy it. I thought it was overtalked, The Finish Line. Exodus, 100% deserved all the hype. 5 out of 5 stars. Soul destroying, amazing. Everyone should read it. The Finish Line, you don't need to read it. It's not that great, in my opinion. The next is my second Audible read of the summer, of September. Whew. It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey, and I, again, love this one. Both the male and female, no, it was a female the whole time in this one. The female narrator was amazing in this. I thought they were so cute. I love that he made like an Instagram account to follow her, and he knew nothing about social media. He was such like a broody fisherman, and she was like, so what gravitated me towards this book was it was after Schitt's Creek, which I love Schitt's Creek. I didn't find her super Alexa. Same concept, but not like super like, oh my gosh, it's Alexa. But I love this book. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. The next book, again, was all over Bookstagram, and everyone was talking about this book, and I just had to read it. And it's Hooked by Emily McIntyre. So it's not a Peter Pan retelling, but it has a lot of Peter Pan. Like, she says it's about Peter Pan, but it's not like a retelling. So I love that. Like, that she mentioned the Jolly Roger in it, all the names matched up, Tinkerbell was in it, but like as people, and it was like a mafia romance. It was a very solid read. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. A lot of people gave this 5 out of 5 stars. I just didn't find it. I felt like it was very insta-love for me, which stopped me from giving it 5 out of 5 stars, as well as the conflict in it. Like, she forgave him so easily, and he doesn't mean things to him, the hero. Mean things to her, the hero. And she just it was almost forgotten about once the truth was found out, and I didn't like that, which is what kind of stopped me. If the world building was not so good with Peter Pan, I would have given it a 3 out of 5 star. However, I'm very excited to read the rest of the series. She's going to be writing more, and I'm excited to see what her fairy tales that she does, where like she has the villain get the girl. So in this one, Captain Hook got the girl, which is really cute. But it's a good read. A lot of people are giving this 5 out of 5 star. The smut level is so good in it. Like, it's good. Just like, not like Den of Vipers creepy, but it's really good. The next book is by Olivia Date. It is spoiler alert. I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. I didn't like it at all. Our heroine is on like a writing app. I want to say kind of similar to Wattpad, where she's writing books, stories, and novellas about this TV series. She also dresses in cosplay. She posts a photo online, gets the attention of one of the cast members. So this cast member secretly has been hiding online under an alias name, so he already knew our heroine. He connects the dots after their first date. They go, and he invites her because this photo that she posted for cosplay goes viral. He invites her on a date for publicity. He ends up liking her. She's a bigger girl, so it's supposed to be like a plus size romance, but I felt like it was like, I didn't like it as a plus size romance. I don't think it really mattered that she was plus size. They just put so much focus on it. Like, there's one point where she gets upset because the hero like offers like, they wanted to see each other, so he's like, well, I'm going to the gym at this time, do you want to go? And she like lost her mind. And I don't know, maybe because I didn't relate to that much. I'm a bigger person, but like, I didn't find that insulting. If a guy did that to me, I'd just like, yeah, whatever. But I wasn't gravitating towards this book. It's kind of painful to read. However, she did just release that she's doing a second book of the series, where it's about our hero's co-star in the same series falling in love with, like, I think it's what is it called? A behind-the-scenes fashion person on set, so maybe that'll be better. So the next book is Pack Lies and Pack Mates by Alys Wilde, and I hated it. I don't even want to, I gave it 2 out of 5 star. I don't even know how to explain this book to you. It was not good. It's not romantic. It's weird. It's rushed. It's fluff. That's all I got for it. And then I read Sex and Sours by Danny McLean. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. This was also an art given to me. It is released in September 5th. I did finish it in it's releasing October 5th, so in a couple days. I didn't love it. It's about our heroine, works at a bar, and the guy who owns the bar's brother comes into town, takes over the bar for him because he's running from his past, kind of, where he lost all his bars. We'll find out why. He's escaping a bad relationship with a girl, and he knows that she's very hard-headed and likes to be controlling, and it's like a power struggle, so it's workplace romance, enemies to lover kind of style. She is bi, which I really like how the author did that there, but I felt like it was just like, it wasn't grabbing me. It wasn't that great. It's a good read. I think some people will mark this 5 stars because it is good. The smut is pretty good. It's not like great. It's not like Hooked, which is like a whole, I feel like Hook's in its own, like, there's a whole bunch of books in their own like section of that. But Sticks and Stars is good, and they end up like getting together, but I felt like the conflict towards the end, like, it was not insta love. They ended up getting together at a fine pace. I wasn't bothered by that. But then the hero and the heroine get in like a tiff, and I felt like it was so stupid and resolved very fast. But like, I just didn't like the heroine. I think when I don't like the heroine, I always would lower rate the books. So I started off September badly and I ended with like 2 and 3 star reads, but in the middle I had some really good like 5 star, 4 star reads. I did enjoy this month of reading. I gave it 25 books worth, which is really good. My October TBR is growing and growing and growing. I'll be doing an October hopeful video very soon. Maybe next weekend. Maybe I'll fill a bunch next weekend. I don't know if I'll be able to fit it any more this weekend. I am getting ready to start a brand new gig. So I probably will not film any more videos today, and we're just gonna very late October, mid-October hopefuls. Maybe I'll call it mid-October hopefuls by the time I get it posted. But thank you so much for watching. As always, all my books I talked about will be linked in the description box with their links, and I'll let you know if they're on Kindle Unlimited. Any Bookstagramers that I talked about, I'll link their handles below so you can go and follow them. Books and Bitches, Let Cat Read. I like following those people. I tend to gravitate towards those the most because their recommendations are pretty good. I started, what is it called? A book club with Romancing the Reader, also a very good author. So I'll be talking about that in my October hopefuls and linking her Instagram handle below so you can go and follow her and join our book club. We just started, so it's still easy to catch up if you want to. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, comment everything down below. I really would appreciate it, and I will see you next time.